Happy Thursday, everybody. This is your PR princess, your timeless elite, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me, on this Thursday edition of TNA Impact. And what better way to do that? Because we're continuing coverage of the Knockouts TV tournament. Obviously, of course, we have Rosemary, who is one half of the new TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions, taking on by Elegance. And we do see the personal concierge back in the fray, even though he was misted by Rosemary from Slammiversary. But happy to be back. Happy to be back. I know I came in just in time because I had to take care of a few things, but I'm happy to be back with all of you for 2 hours for TNA. I couldn't miss this tournament so far. Indy Hartwell, Jody Threat, Mara Charday, Heather by Elegance all advance into the next rounds. And we do have a few more first round matches we have to get through before we get into the next round. But happy to be with all of you. Shout out to Jeffrey and Boza in the chat to keep it going. Shout out to Jill P9G. Happy of this one. Super excited for this. But feel free to put in the chat on who you guys got winning this. Do you have by Elegance, or do you have Rosemary advancing? So happy. Shout out to Jeff Mennerling in the chat. You guys see, I love it that you guys are keeping this chat going when it comes to TNA. So as you know, since we are Women's Wrestling Talk, we focus a lot on women's wrestling. And since not many people are doing this, we decided to give you exclusive coverage of the Knockouts TV tournament. Because, come on. It would be a missed opportunity if we didn't. Shout out to Aaron Teagle in the chat. Some people are picking Rosemary to win. You better not. Well, I hope not either, because we don't want the personal concierge to be blinded. Now, do we? No, we don't. And I'm catching up to speed because lots has happened on social and all that good stuff. So it's been a fun and busy week. So yeah. Feel free to put in there. Happy to be with all of you and everything else. Catching up to speed with everything. That's been it. It's kind of crazy because I was like, it's just kind of crazy because last night, AEW in Boston. Now tonight we switch to TNA. Of course, you have Heather by Elegance interfering. You can expect a lot of shenanigans outside. Well, I'd rather have the personal concierge than Mr. Elegance because I feel like everybody in the chat doesn't like Mr. Elegance. But anyways, yes, that's why it's booming, because I'm happy you guys are interacting with each other because I'm excited for this. And we're going to keep doing this mini watch-along series until we find a winner. Also later tonight, we have Harley Hudson taking on Thea Hale. We're also going to have AJ Francis taking on Moose. We have the TNA X Division Championship on the line. Fabian Aichner taking on Cedric Alexander. And that's going to be some fun matches because they're on the road to lockdown. They are on the road to lockdown. So get ready. Don't stick a friend. Well, we shall see. But and also Mustafa Ali is going to do his State of the Order address or whatever. Bear Bronson is going to take on Ricky Sosa. So Ricky Sosa has been booming. And we're also going to hear from the reigning TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Nick Nemeth. Lots of stuff happening. Jeffrey, Mr. Concierge is like Don Callis, but he is... Well, I don't think anybody can get a lot of heat more than Don Callis, because we call him in my watch along, we call him Mr. Peanut Head Creep. That's what he is, though. Because he's bald as like Mr. Peanut. So that's really funny. I don't think anybody can be that. But I'm happy you guys are in the chat. But yeah, we're on the road to lockdown because it's happening next month. But that's pretty funny. I don't think anybody can have more heat than Don Callis. Let's just be very clear. Don Callis is so much heat, it's like nobody likes him. But this match is going pretty good. Obviously, of course, by Elegance. And I found out she used to be a former volleyball player, which is pretty cool that she has that athletic background. Obviously, we know with Rosemary, she's been there for 10 years. So she's like one of the veterans for TNA. And I will say, with everything that's been happening, because I feel like we've had so many releases, and we had a release earlier today where it was a tag team from TNA. So it's very interesting where they have some of these releases, but they're re-signing some people. So it's like, okay. Yeah, it's been a really good tournament so far. I'm happy to see a lot of the ladies, some of the ladies advance, and pretty much it's going to be interesting. Who's Mr. So Mr. Concierge, he's like the manager of the Elegance brand. He's the guy that, he has a microphone and he introduced them. He tries to find things that are elegance and fashion. So that's how it is. Shout out to Gas Max in the chat. You're going to be hanging out with me for 2 hours, because if you follow my siblings over the Kayfabe podcast, they're not doing theirs tonight because they are giving themselves some rest, which I do think they do deserve some rest. And also, we're talking about the TNA Hall of Fame class of 2026. So far, we have ODB, The Amazing Red, and Conan so far. And that's more well-deserving. Very curious on who else is going to be added to the TNA Hall of Fame. Very, very excited. So much excitedness. And that it's going to happen at Bound for Glory, which will happen in the fall. So, but as I said, my siblings at the Kayfabe podcast are taking a break today. So they'll be back next week. But also, like I said, Thursdays can be a bit crazy, because once you're done kayfabe with them, you can hang out with me to do TNA. But it's always good to take a mental break every now and then. I know some people always see me on the clock as I go, but I do take breaks. I think the only time I didn't have to do a watch long is either I was at Dynamite Live, or I was on an assignment for work. But it's always something. It's always something. But it's always good to take a break. Very, very good. Taking breaks, everything else. But here with all of you and just doing this mini watch along. And it looks like Ali is playing some tricks from the Elegance playbook. That's pretty funny. And Rosemary, she's taking advantage. And also with the fact, too, we do have Saturday night's main event this weekend. And also this weekend, some people that I know, it is Fanatics Fest this weekend. So I do see a lot of people in the wrestling content creator space that are there. I hope they have a wonderful time. The first day actually was a bit crazy, because Rhea Ripley did her lookalike contest. We saw Cody Rhodes chatting with the other QB, Tom Brady, I guess, but also other stuff happening too. But they're just getting started, and they're there throughout the whole weekend in New York. So if you're there in New York, please make sure to do that. Also, make sure to drink some water, because we are in a heat wave. And also, there's a fire happening in Canada, so please make sure to cover your face, because I know New York is in a little bit of an air quality alert. So please make sure. And I'm laughing at the personal concierge. It looks like Rosemary's intimidating him because he's still blinded. He's definitely blinded. Oh man, and he fell on himself. I don't think. And here comes Ali helping out her tech. Ooh, it looks like Ed by Elliot just spat in Rosemary's face, and it was a cradle. Oh my God. So now M by Elegance is advancing due to shenanigans. I mean, I guess, but oh man, taking a page out of Rosemary's playbook. That's like, wow. Oh boy. They're so I know. Oh, look at the concierge. I know Allie's checking on her tag team partner, but oh boy. So now both members of the Elegance brand advance. Well, we know Heather advanced. Now we see M by Elegance advance. And oh boy, this is going to be interesting. But so far, so good. This tournament's just getting started. And I can tell there's a lot of heat between Rosemary and Allie and the Elegance brand. But we're looking at the updated brackets. as I mentioned, we do have the TNA X Division Championship. And yes, thank you for that, Boza. It's our main event, obviously, because what better way to do that than main event on the X Division? Because if you have not watched the X Division throughout the history of TNA, you guys are in for a treat. But up next, we are having a heavy hitting match between AJ Francis taking on Moose. Obviously, of course, we knew what happened last week with the King's speech with Frankie Kazarian. It's ironic, Frankie Kazarian and Moose have never met one on one, but Frankie Kazarian is running scared because he probably doesn't want to face Moose yet, but sooner or later they're going to have to face off. But AJ Francis came out with his manager expressions, and it kind of led to this match, but I'm pretty sure Moose wants to face off against Frankie Kazarian sooner than later. But we're on commercials. I'm watching this on cable, obviously on AMC. As I mentioned, I didn't realize they had that many commercials. And also, I forget what movie was on before I came on, because I think it had Bruce Willis. But I know after this, because I'm looking at my AMC channel, Die Hard is going to be on. So I will say AMC has some interesting movies, especially when it comes to like specific holiday themes. I know recently they have 4th of July. Obviously, of course, they did it with Halloween and also with Thanksgiving, because they always air like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Because I always watch that movie right before Thanksgiving with Steve Martin and John Candy. And I will say, at first, I didn't like the movie, but it's starting to be very funny. And that's always something, a tradition I have the night before Thanksgiving, where I watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And obviously, of course, when Christmas comes along, they go all out for Christmas. So, but you're hanging out with me on a Thursday night. And obviously, TNA will always have a special place in my heart, because this is actually the second wrestling promotion I fell in love with. And I did not watch the final episode of Dark Side of the Ring, but I will watch it this weekend, since obviously there's a heat wave in the East Coast. And it's also going to be raining this weekend. So I need to catch up on the final episode. And oh boy, I heard there was a lot of tea spilled, because we talked about WWT Live yesterday. A lot of tea spilled, everything else. And woo, it's very interesting with the story of TNA, and also with the fact too, it's just like, oh boy. Yes, please make sure to be safe if you're in the East Coast, if you're in New York, you're in Philadelphia, you're in Jersey. Please make sure to stay safe, especially with these air qualities, because there is a wildfire happening in Canada, and it's kind of spreading around the East Coast. Also, like I said, there's a heat wave. There's a heat wave going on. And also, if you're going to Fanatics Fest, please make sure to stay hydrated this weekend. There's Fanatics Fest happening along with Saturday night's main event in New York. So please make sure to stay hydrated, drink some water, stay cool, everything else. Because it is a little, it's been a party in New York. Obviously, of course, the reigning NBA champions, the New York Knicks, won. They had the parade, and obviously they are still partying, which as they should. Oh, yes, Jeffrey. Thank you for that. I can imagine being in the Caribbean. It is hot, but please make sure, stay cool, drink a lot of water, don't do too much outside. Dark Side. Yes, Jeffrey. Tuesday, if you did watch Dark Side of the Ring, they just wrapped up the conclusion, but I feel like there should have been more with TNA, but there was a lot of tea spilled. Some I didn't even know, and then some I wasn't surprised. But yeah. And yes, thanks, Jeff Fetterling. AMC does have a lot of holiday theme shows between like Halloween and Christmas, and also throw in Thanksgiving right before that. But they do have some interesting movies. I'm looking at some of these. Like I said, I didn't realize AMC had a lot of commercials. Yeah. I mean, Karen wasn't wrong. I mean, hey, Karen. And oh, we're going to hear from the system from Melissa Edwards. I know the system has some busyness. Here comes Brian Myers. And here comes Bear Bronson. He's going to be facing off against Ricky Sosa a little bit later on. You know, of course you do, Jeffrey. You always love it what Alyssa says. And then Cedric Alexander, he's going to be in the main event. Aichner, that's his name. I hope they do justice for Cedric Alexander. And obviously, of course, not only has to deal with Fabian, he also has to deal with Leon Slater, because Leon Slater still has some beef with Cedric Alexander. Well, the system said what they have to say, because they got a lot of business happening. Oh, Lordy, here comes Expressions, who got injured. Oh, Lordy. Well, he's doing the introduction for AJ Francis. I'm excited for this match. AJ Francis versus Moose. But here comes AJ Francis. Money, money, money. You would think there was first class, and that was just him. Here comes AJ Francis. I mean, he's been at the TV. Jeff Betterling, I'm not going to say Expressions is boring, because I've only seen him twice. And I usually like to give people like a couple months on how I feel. I don't want to do it like right away where people do hot takes. I want to see how he does. And it's funny, his jersey said the franchise. Oh, and speaking of Frankie Kazarian, guess who's on commentary himself? Mr. Frankie Kazarian. Because after what happened, he just took that fan's popcorn. I can see why people don't like him. I can see why a lot of people don't like him taking fans' popcorn. Who does he think he is? And with the fact too, he's married to Tracy Brooks. Oh boy. Well, as AJ Francis coming to the ring, obviously, of course, after hopping last week, because Moose, even though he's faced off against AJ Francis, he wants Frankie Kazarian. He's trying to be. Oh my God. Jeffrey, the name Slick, that is crazy. If you know from the WWF days, you know who Slick is. Oh boy, and you can tell there's gonna be shenanigans with Frankie Kazarian there, because sooner or later Frankie Kazarian has to face off against Moose. But here comes, as he calls himself, the franchise of TNA, Moose. Look at that entrance. And people do love Moose. Oh, I love that little fan has a sign that says a moose. See, look, he is the face of the franchise. But feel free to put in the chat on who you guys got winning this thing. Do you have AJ Francis picking up a victory? Do you have Moose picking up a victory? Or do you think there's going to be shenanigans between Frankie Kazarian and AJ Francis is not wasting any time? He's going right after Moose. He's... I know. It's just like, oh my goodness. Slick from the WWF days. Oh man, that's crazy. But here we go. Moose is doing what Moose does best. He's like, you have two big guys that are just going at each other. And by the way, they used to play football, which is insane. They both play football. Obviously, AJ Francis, and I know Moose did. But it's kind of insane. Two big guys, but they can actually go. I know one of our so-called mayors said he actually met AJ Francis during Vegas week, and he's very, very tall. He's very tall. So, Jeffrey, you're going for Moose. Moose. I'm pretty sure. Feel free to put in the chat. Or do you think there's going to be a lot of shenanigans? Do you think Frankie Kazarian is going to interfere? I guess Expressions is right. I guess Expressions is taking the high road. He's taking the high road. Hold on for a quick second. Let me. Whew, I had to take care of that. But look at the replay. Oh my goodness. AJ Francis gave a powerbomb to Moose outside the ring, but Expressions just came back. And yes, Jeffrey, I did see that Roman Reigns did meet Moose. And that's awesome that he got to meet Moose. It's always nice when some wrestlers that you didn't think would happen crossover. Obviously, Expressions got in the wrong system, and why does Expressions have to stick his nose where it doesn't belong? I thought Frankie would be the one to do it, but apparently he's sitting back enjoying commentary, stealing people's popcorn and all that stuff. I will say AJ Francis definitely put a lot of work ethic since he's been on TNA and it's put on good matches. It just sucks because First Class is disbanded and then it's just him. And I guess he has some fans that like him. He calls himself the show stealer. Money. That's what it is. Money. And also at the end of the month, TNA is coming to Philadelphia. They are coming to Philadelphia at the end of the month. We're going to put a little bit of hold on that because I'm trying to see if I can go in person to do TNA because it's always a good opportunity. And I will say this, it has been a hot city summer in wrestling in the East Coast. So much happening. Next Saturday, it's NWA. End of the month, TNA. Next month, I believe SmackDown's coming in August. We also have MLW coming in October. We got a lot of good wrestling in the East Coast. I'm not complaining, but you just have to figure out which is which. I know. This is like no bread, no water, just meat. And it's crazy. Like I said, these guys play football. Nice DDT by Moose. Actually, no. Nice DDT, but countered by AJ Francis. Quick kick out by Moose. And AJ Francis couldn't believe it. That is true, Jeffrey. I would not be surprised if Frankie Kazarian. Shout out to Chauncey Billings 5381. And yes, TNA always has a special place in my heart. TNA was the second wrestling promotion that I fell in love with. So I'm very happy to do this mini series with all of you for covering the TNA Knockouts TV tournament because we are covering this until we get an inaugural winner. But it has been a fun match between two big guys. As I mentioned, both of these guys play football, which is insane. So you can see the agility, the athleticism, everything. Trick Asiati, Swerve and Nana. Now, I know it's like every person, and I'm not mad at it. I'm happy the managers, the brothers, they're managers. I'm happy for it. Oh, yes. I remember the main event. Mafia, Fortune. Not Five Aces. It was like Ace. I forget. It was Ace. Because I think Bully Ray was in that. Main event Mafia, Fortune. Here comes Moose. Taking out AJ Francis outside the ring. As I mentioned, Frankie Kazarian's on commentary. So, I guess aces and eights. Thank you, Jeffrey. I was like, wait. Moose left the popcorn after Frankie Kazarian. Oh, you know, it was only a matter of time Frankie was going to interfere. I guess Frankie's throwing a little bit of a temper tantrum. The referee's telling him to get out of here, but he ain't listening. Oh boy. So it looks like it's a beatdown. You have expressions, you have AJ, you have Frankie. Oh, look at expression. Look at him. He's choking out Moose. He's lucky Moose is laying on the ground. I wish I'm guessing this ended. I'm guessing this ended in no contest. I would say this has to end in a no contest because with Frankie interfering. Now, Frankie, I would mess up. I know, right? I would not mess up those white shoes. But I guess this match ended in a no contest due to Frankie Kazarian interfere. But it looks like there's still some animosity between Moose versus AJ Francis and Frankie Kazarian. So, and also we hear from Elena Black, who, by the way, will have her match next week. Yes, Elena Black taking on the former Evolve's women's champion, Wendy Chu, because I know the new champion is Nikita Lyons. And yes, Chauncey, they will still have an X Division match. It is the main event. Cedric Alexander, the new X Division champion, will be taking on Fabian Aichner. That'll be the main event. And looky, it's Xia Brookside, the reigning TNA Knockouts champion. Jeffrey, she has a lot of a glow up. She has a glow up, I will say. She's glow. I mean, I kind of like this firepower from Xia Brookside. I really want her to take it to that next level and be the face of that division. I really, really do. Elena Black. Oh man. Well, up next we have the State of the Order address with Mustafa Ali because he ain't seeing what's going on with Order 4. So Chauncey, I will say this because TNA has some good moments, but with everything that's been happening lately the last couple of weeks, because we've seen a lot of releases from TNA, some re-signings, so there is a lot of stuff behind the scenes for me, because if you did not know, I also handle watch-alongs for AEW. Now, granted, AEW's managed to get to 7 years, which is a good record. Do I think they still need work? Yes. Do I think they need to feature more in the women's division? Absolutely. Do they need to be more consistent with storylines? Yes. But they do have some stuff that is a lot entertaining. And with me, of course, I have to support AEW because you kind of need AEW. I know they've had a few hurdles in between or whatever, but they do have some good stuff. I'm very happy to see that. It makes me happy to see them because I want to see them continue to grow. I want to see them continue to learn. I want to see them hit that 10-year mark. I want to see them go to places that WCW never had the chance to. I mean, granted they did, but I just don't want them to be in the same cycle as WCW. But I want them to still continue going. If they can make it past 10 years, I don't want to hear anybody talking crap about AEW. Because I remember when people were talking, it wasn't constructive criticism. It's like people were trashing AEW and they wanted them to die. They didn't even think they would make it past the 5-year mark. But here we are. They're at year number 7. And they're on to bigger and better things. They're getting ready for Wembley Stadium. They're getting ready for Redemption next weekend. And, you know, granted, if you follow my watch alongs, obviously, of course, I got to give them constructive criticism, but they're doing great work. And they have to be careful who they bring in. Because for me, I want everybody to enjoy wrestling. But you got to be careful on some grifters, especially with WWE and their content creators. Because you see a lot of them being in WCW. AEW. So this is where AEW needs to be a little bit careful, especially who they bring in their media scrums and everything else. But well, yeah, Boza. Yeah, Boza, we're gonna talk about that because first off, if they know Redemption is in Canada, they need to know Kenny is from Canada. Doesn't matter what part of Canada you're in. They just need to have Kenny. And like I said, I think it is a good opportunity for Kevin Knight because Tony Khan did put him as one of the pillars of the future for AEW. I do think it's a good opportunity for him because, yes, he faced off against MJF. He's facing off against Kenny Omega. He's facing off with some of the top tier guys in AEW. So he's not a scrub. And this is kind of a similar thing, which I kind of wish they did it with when Hangman was champion, because obviously, of course, he had that incredible match with Kyle Fletcher at AEW All Out, because Kyle Fletcher is definitely one of the future players of AEW. He also, Hangman also had Lee Moriarty step up to the plate, which I thought was really cool, because then you figure out who's going to be leading in the future, because some of them are not going to be around forever. So I don't know. People tend to forget Redemption is in Canada. And yes, Boza, I did see September 26th, Worlds Collide AAA. It's kind of funny that they're in the same city, but different venues. Very, very interesting. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be very interesting that day, because I know Boss Lady and Christina have done watch alongs for AAA. So I'm sure they're gonna be probably handling AAA. Obviously, of course, I'll be handling AEW All Out. And also, a quick FYI, there will be a watch along for Redemption next weekend. Obviously, of course, it's the inaugural year of Redemption. I would be too stupid enough not to do it. But obviously, of course, there will be a watch along next Sunday. Yeah, next Sunday. So get ready. So now we head back to TNA, and we have everybody from Order 4. Mustafa Ali is gonna do his state of the address, checking in on the status of Order 4, because the last couple of weeks haven't been that good. So let's see what the reigning TNA International Champion has in stock. And yes, Boza, after that, they will be back in football during AEW All Out. Let's hear what Mustafa Ali has to say in his address. It's funny how he says citizens of TNA. Yes, Jeffrey, Tasha Steeles does look fabulous. Problems. Problems. Oh, Order 4 needs help. Who's going to be the one to do it? Accountable. So the newest member of Order 4 is. Oh, Mila Moore is the Secretary of Affairs. Hmm. Interesting. What you it's kind of crazy. When Mila Moore comes out to the ring, and I hope this doesn't do anything else. Why does she remind me of Stacy Keebler when she was Miss Hancock? Because that's what she reminds me of is Stacy Keebler. Yeah, and exactly, Boza. After with Tessa, it kind of I'm not gonna lie, Mila Moore looks at me like Stacy Keebler. Oh boy. And you can tell Tasha Steeles isn't too pleased with it. You can tell there's gonna be a lot of cattiness between those two in the future. She looks like I know you would think Eve, but I don't know why. It just reminds me of Stacy. Oh, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of work to do for Order 4. I know, Jeffrey. It's like Tasha Steeles. Oh boy. You can tell Tasha Steeles is not really impressed, and I don't blame her. Who's going to be the next contender? Power to the people? Oh, dear God. Oh, God. Oh, boy. So next week, the people in the back are going to sign the number one contender. You could tell Tasha Steeles didn't do the signature pose. You could tell she's very not pleased. She's not very pleased with Mila coming in because you can tell there's gonna be a lot of cattiness between those two ladies. Come home, Tasha. Come home. Oh, Jeffrey, yes. You can tell Tasha Steeles is not pleased. And I do not blame her. But that's the status of Order 4. So that was interesting. All right. So we're showing the injury report. So Moose is going evaluation. And then Lay. I love that they do these injury reports because it's very fascinating. Oh, Cedric Alexander. Obviously, of course, he's cleared because he has a big match. So, so it looks like Nick Nemeth. He's in pristine shape, I guess. So that's the injury report. Oh boy. Well, yeah, that was really interesting. And we're also going to hear from Nick Nemeth later on tonight. Oh boy. We're going to hear from him tonight. But up next, we have Ricky Sosa, who has been one of the shining new pieces of TNA. He's facing off against the Sixdom's Bear Bronson next. Yes, Boza. Apparently, they were great at releases. The latest round of releases within TNA. But that was an interesting order for state of the address. You can tell Mila Moore and Tasha Steelz are going to have a cat fight in the future. And that'll be very interesting to see. But you're hanging out with me, your PR princess, your timeless elite, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me, on this Thursday edition of TNA Impact. We have exclusive coverage of the TNA Knockouts TV tournament. So we will be doing this leading up till we have a winner. We just got through one of the rounds earlier tonight. We have Hem by Elegance defeating Rosemary tonight. And we're also going to have Harley Hudson take on Thea happening later on tonight. Obviously, our main event, we have Cedric Alexander defending his X Division Championship against Fabian Aichner. Aichner, that's the name. But happy to be with all of you on this Thursday edition. You ain't gonna... Yeah, I know. That's the one thing. I was like, I don't think you want to mess with Tasha Steelz, but sooner or later they're going to have some funniness. But also, another thing that we're doing here at Women's Wrestling Talk is the Women's Wrestling Archive, where we celebrate the past, the present, and the future of women's wrestling.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches 2026, and it's going to pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might think he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate 1, 5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
Support everything you can with the Women's Wrestling Archive. $10, $20, $30, $100, any support that you can get for the Women's Wrestling Archive. But you're hanging out with me because we're almost completed the first hour and we're almost on the final hour of TNA Impact. It's hard to believe, TNA, it does go by very quick when you're having fun. It goes by very quick. Even last night when I did Dynamite, it kind of went by very quick. Obviously, of course, we knew an overrun was happening because I'm used to that every week where, Dynamite's having an overrun. The only time you see it end at 10 o'clock is if anytime March Madness or soccer or any type of sports is happening. That's the only time you'll see it end at 10 o'clock. But then everything else is just like go all out. So, but also next week, Mustafa Ali is letting the people in the back of TNA choose his next challenger for the TNA International Championship. Not sure who's it going to be, but it's going to be very interesting on who is it going to be. The commercial. I know. I didn't realize there was a lot of commercials. I mean, very rarely I ever watch AMC, but I didn't realize they didn't have that many commercials. I thought TNT or TBS. Well, TBS doesn't have that much commercials. Same thing with TNT. But I just didn't realize AMC had that many commercials. Oh, geez. And they're showing commercials of their original shows that they have on AMC. And you can watch on the AMC Plus app. I'm surprised that, and also with their pay-per-views too. I know they have TNA Plus, but they need to really think about where they want to do it. And we're going to hear from the Righteous. Here we're going to hear from the Righteous. And they picked up something. It's from the Broken Hardys. So it looks like they're finding the Righteous to the Hardy compound. The infamous Hardy compound. Oh boy. Oh my God. I don't think anybody wants to enter the Hardy compound. I don't think anybody wants to enter the Hardy compound. Because we know what happens when people enter the Hardy compound. It's, yes. It's like BET when you want, yeah, exactly. The commercials. Jeez, I guess a lot of people don't like the Righteous. I mean, the Righteous seem a little bit out of the box, but there's not that many tag teams in the TNA division. I mean, you have the System, somewhat Order 4. You have the Righteous, but what other tag teams do they have right now? I mean, obviously the Hardys, but what other tag teams are out there? Well, here comes Bear Bronson, accompanied by Brian Myers. I did mention this last week. Brian Myers, which is kind of odd because it's teacher and student together. Brian Myers co-owns the Creative Pro Wrestling School in upstate New York, and you see a lot of people from Creative Pro Wrestling there. Bear Bronson, Gabby Forza, Chris Statlander, MJF, Max Caster, Leo Sparrow, Bryce Donovan, so many people. And now he gets to be alongside one of his students, which is cool. But here comes Ricky Sosa, one of the latest shining figures of TNA. Bang, bang. Sosa. I know, there's not too many tag teams jumping like a TNA. Bang, bang. Here comes Ricky Sosa. Because he'll be one of the... I just hope TNA doesn't mess him up either. Because I feel like I could see him having a bright future. And I could see him be one of the charge of leading that X division. Because we don't know what's going on with Leon Slater. What's the contract deal. But I think Ricky Sosa definitely does have a bright future. Yes. Bang, bang. Sosa. And also teaming up with Leon Slater, who, by the way, Leon Slater still has some beef with Cedric Alexander after what happened at Slammiversary. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not that many tag teams, and I feel like, and I think we talked about this many times on WWT Live, it's somewhat of a rebuild mode, because they have to rebuild the Knockouts division, they have to rebuild the tag team division, X division, and looky, Brian Myers is on commentary, so he will be commentary during this match. So that's going to be interesting. But here we go. We have Bear Bronson of the System taking on Ricky Sosa. Feel free to put in the chat on who you guys got in this, because this kind of stems from a couple weeks ago where the Righteous and the System tried to recruit Ricky Sosa to join their respective teams, but Ricky Sosa said no. And him and Leon Slater were in tag team action last week, which I thought was really cool. And also the fact, too, it kind of helps because Leon Slater still has beef with Cedric Alexander. Shout out to Lynette in the chat. Yes, Thea Hale has a match tonight against Harley Hudson, the second match of the Knockouts TV tournament that's happening later on tonight. So you want to get ready for that. Jeffrey, you're picking Ricky Sosa. Like I said, feel free to put in the channel who you guys got. You got Ricky Sosa, or do you have Bear Bronson? But as I said, I would not count out Bear Bronson one bit because he has been doing a lot of work in the independent scene. I did see him when I was doing commentary for ISBW. He made an appearance there, but he's doing the work. And like I said, Ryan Myers has done a great job, especially opening Creative Pro Wrestling, getting all these people, especially in the East Coast, doing incredible work. As I mentioned, not just Bear Bronson, his wife, Gabby Forza, MJF. Yes, I said MJF. Chris Statlander, Bryce Donovan, Max Caster. So many people have trained in Creative Pro. And I'm truly grateful for that. And that's just the fun part. And I know it's kind of really nice because Brian Myers gets to be with one of his students, which I love, especially in TNA. And he's also leading by example, you know, running a wrestling school, but also wrestling in TNA. That's kind of like a win-win there. And of course, we have commercials for AMC. So if you're a fan of Jaws, they're doing a marathon on Saturday. So if you're familiar with the movie Jaws, they're doing a marathon of it this Saturday. So Lynette, as I mentioned earlier in the show, because normally my siblings over at the Kayfabe podcast, they would be doing theirs and I'd be doing TNA. Unfortunately, they are taking a break today. They're taking a mental health break, which is good. I'm really glad that they're doing that. So no kayfabe today. They'll be back next week. And also there's just a lot of busyness happening this weekend, not just for kayfabe, but as you know, we have Saturday night's main event happening Saturday. We also have Fanatics Fest happening this weekend. A lot of people in the East Coast come out to one of the biggest events in sports of the year. Super exciting. I did see the first day of Fanatics Fest, and it was pretty cool. I've seen a lot of wrestling content creators come out. Everything else, it's really, really cool, and we're just getting started. But it's always good to take a mental health day, but they will be back next week. And yes, as Jeffrey mentioned, there will be a Honey Night SmackDown tomorrow. So Honey will be back tomorrow. But yeah, Fanatics Fest is happening this weekend. Obviously, of course, we will have WWT live tomorrow. We will also be doing both predictions for Saturday night's main event happening this weekend. I think we're going to be doing a watch along. We may see. I don't know. So Chauncey Billings, if you did see the story with Dark Side of the Ring happening, technically you would think it was Dixie, but technically it was her dad. It was technically Dixie's dad that bought at TNA. Dixie was kind of like the face of trying to promote everything, but it was mostly her dad that tried to do it. And yes, Jeffrey, I did see Trick Williams was there, and WWE did make a stream. They are doing social posts, as I see with Fanatics Fest. I did see one where Rhea Ripley, she's hosting a Rhea Ripley lookalike contest. We did see Tiffany Stratton, Cody Rhodes, many other people in there as well. Jalen Brunson, who is part of the New York Knicks, who just won the NBA championship game. So we will also be seeing Jalen on Saturday night's main event, where he accepted Roman Reigns' invitation. Now, what's he going to do? I have no idea. So, I mean, supposed to fill in butts and seats because, yeah, she was I know, trying to be Stephanie. I don't think anybody. And let's be very clear, because we've all watched wrestling for quite some time. I think we know nobody can try to pull off Stephanie McMahon. There can only be one Stephanie. And Stephanie did handle the business side of it. Even, regardless with her last name is McMahon, she did have some challenges in there, but she handled the business side, philanthropy side, everything else. I'm glad. I know you love that moment, Jeffrey. Like I said, the one thing I wish with TNA, they have so many commercials. I knew they had commercials, but I not like this. I mean, when I do watch-alls for TNA, at least their commercials aren't that long, whether it be on TNT or TBS. But it's 10 o'clock. We're in the final hour of TNA Impact, and we still have commercials. Man, even when USA Network, even when USA Network, they didn't have that many commercials. Yeah, live and oh my god, great times. Let's get back. I know, Jeff Menderling. It's like, let's get back to the match. There's a lot of commercials. And speaking of that, we're back with TNA Impact. We have Ricky Sosa, one of the newest shining stars of TNA, taking on the System's Bear Bronson. We have Brian Myers doing commentary outside the ring. So, and this kind of steps back because the System and the Righteous tried to recruit Ricky Sosa, but he denied both of them. So now he is in a somewhat alliance with Leon Slater, because as I mentioned, Leon Slater is still pissed off at Cedric Alexander because he screwed him over at Slammiversary. So there is still some unfinished beef between them. But Ricky Sosa is putting some momentum in, and I hope he is one of the future leaders, not just the X Division, but also for TNA, because I think it would be a good opportunity for him to get that shine and opportunity in. But obviously, of course, TNA is in rebuild mode, so we don't even know what's happening between releasing people, getting out of their contracts, re-signing them. I don't know. So, but we have another match for the Knockouts TV tournament. We have Harley Hudson taking on Thea Hale. We're also going to hear from the TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth. And also for the main event, Cedric Alexander will be defending the X Division Championship against Fabian Aichner. It's actually a good match between Bear Bronson and Ricky Sosa. You better, I know, Jeffrey. I hope not either. Because I feel like they've been in rebuild mode. I'm like, I can't afford another release. Because I don't know what's happening behind closed doors. I can't afford it. Nice kick by Ricky Sosa. Oh, that was a nice move that Ricky did. One, two, quick kick out by Bear Bronson. Brian Myers cheering on one of his students. Ricky Sosa, what's he going to do here? Going off the top rope. Claymore kick. And we know who does a Claymore very well. Drew McIntyre. It would be interesting if he came back for SummerSlam. Doesn't have to be a match. You could just come in and, we see Brian Myers. He took off his headset. You know, you can't trust any member of the system. You can't trust anybody. Bear Bronson caught Ricky Sosa. Oh, that was a power bomb. Quick kick out by Ricky Sosa. You can't trust any member of the system because you know there'll be a lot of shenanigans. Oh, man. Bear Bronson wants to pretty much destroy Ricky Sosa. What's doing? So Ricky's trying to block it. Look at that. Oh, look, Brian Myers. He tried. I knew he was going to. And boop, Ricky Sosa punched Brian Myers. What's Ricky didn't do? Ooh, that was a nice forearm. And he took up Bear Bronson. Tried to lift up Bear Bronson, but you can't lift up the big guy. Oh, man. Man, that has to be it. Man. Yeah, that's it. I know. Come on, Ricky, but your winner is Bear Bronson. Bear Bronson got the win. That's one of the biggest wins. One of his signature wins. But Bear Bronson got the win. Obviously, of course, there was a lot of shenanigans with the system with Brian Myers outside the ring, but whoo. So congratulations to Bear Bronson getting the win. I know, Jeffrey, you wanted Ricky Sosa to win as I. But here's Fabian Aichner. He's getting ready for one of the biggest matches in his TNA career so far, taking on Cedric Alexander for the X Division Championship. So his gun's still, I know, got distinguished. For now, Bear Bronson may have won the battle, but the war is still going on between the system and Ricky Sosa. Obviously, of course, we're going to hear from the world champion Nemeth, especially after what happened last week. But up next, we're continuing the second match of the first round of the TNA Knockouts TV tournament. Harley Hudson taking on Thea, and that is up next. This has been fun so far. We're almost done with the first round. We're almost done. And now we just have to get ready for the next round. Jeffrey, my big brother. Don't be like Ryan Nemeth. But yeah, we're gonna hear from Nick Nemeth, especially after what happened last week with Casey Navarro. Also, and I think I talked about this on Wednesday too. So shout out to Dave and everybody else at Fight Factory Wrestling. They did an incredible job at their wrestling event at Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey. They were wrestling on the beach in the Jersey Shore, which was insane because me being a Jersey girl, I'm used to being at beaches. But it was so cool just to be at that place. Shout out to them. You had so many top people, independent stars from the wrestling world. You had some people from WrestlePro, ISPW. Richard Holiday came in as well. Casey Navarro came in. I had the chance to meet him. Absolutely the coolest person ever. Absolutely the coolest person ever. And I love that. Casey Navarro obviously made an appearance. So many people made one, and I was very, very happy to be there to do coverage for it. Still have some coverage happening later in the week, but the triple threat match between Lady Frost, Steph DeLander, and Allie Katch. Oh my God. And I didn't realize Steph DeLander got thrown right into the water of the beach, which actually, that's insane. The ladies did show up, but congratulations to Dave and everybody at Fight Factory Wrestling. They put on an incredible show, and I'm already looking forward to next year's show, which was insane. But I'm very happy that I got to go, and I wonder if it says that. Oh, Jeff, I don't even know. I'm very curious on how the Nemeth family reunion is, especially with Ryan, because Ryan is the baby brother. He is the baby brother. Why that makes me sad? I don't know. You know what's crazy? It's really crazy. It's really, really crazy. And it's funny, this organization, because it made me think of Will. It really did make me think of Will, because you know the acronyms have the WWF initials, which I find hilarious. I find absolutely hilarious. And it's funny because they were the reason WWF had to change to WWE, because of course there was a lawsuit that happened back in 2001, 2002 when WWE had to change. That's why they had to do the get the F out promos. You guys remember that? That was hilarious. That's how we lost the WWF name. Because they should have trademarked it. Yeah, you remember those promo commercials? It was like they get the F out leading up to WWE. That was pretty funny. And I'm also looking at my phone to see if like there's any adventures or anything. That was it was a sad day. I'll never forget some of the commercials that they had. It was insane. And because people knew of it as WWF, it was just a trademark. They couldn't fight it. And here we are. Looking at all these commercials. So it looks like The Walking Dead's having another spinoff. And here comes Elijah. So it looks like Moose is recruiting Elijah as a tag team partner since they both have common enemies next week. So it'll be Moose and Elijah taking on AJ Francis and Frankie Kazarian. Well, that makes a lot of sense with the fact Elijah, Elijah. And look at Mackenzie Mitchell. She looks so adorable in some of her outfits, and as a fabulous ring announcer. She looks fabulous, by the way. And also make sure to check out her new book as well, Mackenzie Mitchell. Definitely check out her new book. But we have another match for the Knockouts TV Championship. Harley Hudson. So if you are seeing Harley Hudson for the first time, she is one of the latest people in the Knockouts division. I had the chance to follow up with her, but she has been making waves right before she got into TNA. So I do love that she stands out because she looks fiercely beautiful in pink. She still looks fiercely in pink, and I love it. That makes her stand out with her little short hair. But Harley Hudson is definitely somebody that you check out. I'm starting to like her because she's very different and she stands out. So it's going to be Harley Hudson taking on Thea Hale. Shout out to Black Lives Matter 3151 for joining in the chat. Because as I mentioned, next week we have a tag team match. Moose and Elijah taking on Frankie Kazarian and AJ Francis. And we see Thea Hale from the NXT realm facing off. So far, we have one person from NXT, and we have one person from Evolve, which is Wendy Chu. I mean, I don't know, and I guess that kind of helps with the partnership between TNA and NXT in a way, because we have seen it a little bit. It's hard to believe, and I believe they're in year number 2. Thea Hale. It's hard to believe they're in year number 2 with this partnership, because we were talking about this last year. They're in year number 1. But we see the updated bracket. So whoever wins, as Bosa said, will face off against Indy Hartwell. Obviously, next week it'll be Elena Black versus Wendy Chu next week, and they'll face off against M by Elegance. See, Kyle, this is how you why you to do that with Kyle Fletcher. See, Kyle, this is how you wear. She even has, well, I don't know what Kyle, because Kyle Fletcher's bald. I don't know how that would work. But feel free to put in the chat on who you guys got advancing into the Knockouts TV tournament. Do you have Thea Hale advancing, or do you have Harley Hudson advancing? And I'm going to pick Harley Hudson because she stands out in a way, and she just looks marvelous in pink. And I just like her hair, too. I just love it. But feel free to put in the chat on who you guys got. But you're hanging out with me because it is 10:15 in the East Coast, and we're almost done with TNA. Suppose that you're picking Thea Hale. I'm picking Harley Hudson because I would love to see Harley Hudson do some work in the Knockouts division. Obviously, of course, we did see, okay, Jeff Menderling saying time draw, which that could be another case because we haven't seen that yet. You know, I had to. I know you did because, as you mentioned, Kyle Fletcher, he's a man that wears pink. He's a man that wears pink. Yeah, Kyle Fletcher, and also my guys Bowens and Caster, because their signature color was pink before they get claimed dissolved for now. So be patient, friends, because I said this on my watch along for AEW a couple weeks ago. Anthony Bowens is going to get gold before Hook. Because if you saw the tension between Bowens and Hook, sooner or later, Anthony's going to get gold. And Hook's going to be very jealous. And that's where it's going to implode just a little bit. So I believe Anthony Bowens is going to he's going to be the first person from the ops to get gold right before Samoa Joe comes back from taping of Twisted Metal. And if you have not seen it, please do, because I believe it's on Peacock, Twisted Metals, and Samoa Joe plays a role in that, and it's based off the video game. Shout out to Eddie Foster in the chat. I hope you're doing well on a Thursday for TNA Impact, because we are continuing coverage of the TNA Knockouts TV tournament. We just had M by Elegance won in shenanigans fashion against Rosemary. Now we have our second match tonight. We have Harley Hudson taking on Thea Hale. I think some people in the chat pick Thea Hale. I mean, I'm picking Harley Hudson to win. She definitely stands out because she looks marvelous in pink. And she's somebody I would not want to mess with. Right, Jeffrey? That would be interesting because I'm telling you, Anthony Bowens is going to be the first person from the ops to get gold. And then it's going to blow over. And then I think, Jeffrey, this is where you bring the boy. Jeffrey, I think this is when you bring my boys back together. And I would be okay with that. Because if they can feud with the ops, and also with the fact, too, when they first teamed up the first time, they faced off against Samoa Joe. And they said some things. And I forget what Caster said in a diss of Samoa Joe. But I do think it's a way to bring my boys back together. But it's just a matter of time. And you got to be very patient. So Black Lives Matter 3151. You think the New Day's going to AEW? Well, if you did catch last night's episode of that, they need to don't worry, Jeffrey, they will. You got to be very patient with my boys. You got to be very patient with my boys. They will. You got to give them time. You can't rush these things desperately. You can't rush these things. You got to give my boys time. So going back to the New Day, it's funny because if you did watch Dynamite last night, there was a lot of hints. Because if you saw the Young Bucks t-shirts, they had similar color shades to the New Day. And with the fact, too, they're bringing up some old footage of the New Day interacting with the Elite years ago. So we shall see. I mean, it's only a matter of time. I mean, you know, is a star. Are you sure? Are you sure, Jeffrey? But I think it's only a matter of time with the New Day. I mean, if they want to come back and all in, great. If they don't, I mean, it's kind of their choice. I mean, it kind of sucks because like there's so many other tag teams in AEW that I would like to get an opportunity. It's just, I'm just at a point where I'm tired. Yes, they are. I'm just tired of seeing the Young Bucks and FTR always be in the tag team title race. I mean, no disrespect to the New Day, and I know everybody goes for the shiny new toy, but I would like to see some other tag teams get an opportunity. Granted, we haven't seen Private Party because they're quick kick out by Thea Hale. I thought Harley Hudson got it. I mean, no disrespect because I know Private Party, they're injured. I would love to see the Infantry get a shot at it. I would love to see the Gates of Agony get an opportunity. I would love to see the Outrunners have an opportunity. I'm not sure if we're going to get the Beast Mornos and Sammy Guevara on Dynamite. If you know, you know. I mean, there's other tag teams I would like to see. Jeffrey, are you sure Anthony was a star of the Acclaimed? That's really interesting. We'll talk about that shortly. I know. We haven't seen a lot. That's why, nothing against New Day being an all-in, but it's just, I want to see the other tag teams. I just want to see them. I just want to see other tag teams get opportunities. That's what I want. I just want to see the other tag teams get opportunity. I mean, I'm happy Shane Tatum Promotions is getting a lot more TV time. I'm happy with that, but it's like I want to see the Infantry. Oh, so we do have, I'm going to say an upset alert, but your winner advancing is Thea Hale. She's facing off against Indy Hartwell. So that's a huge win by Thea Hale. Congratulations. And I know I was talking a little bit, but it was definitely a good match. I did see clips of it. But yeah, this was a good match. Congratulations to Thea Hale advancing. Harley Hudson putting on a really good opportunity, but Thea Hale picked up the win. She picked up the opportunity. It was right in front of her and she did it. So congratulations to Thea Hale on advancing. She'll be facing off against Indy Hartwell next week. And this tournament just got interesting. This really gotten interesting. And we're almost halfway done the first round because we have Elena Black and Wendy Chu, and we have Jada Stone against Alyssa Edwards. So, yeah, we wrap up the first round. And the second round is going to be very interesting. We have Mara Sade taking on Heather by Elegance. Jody Threat's going to take on the winner of Jada Stone and Alyssa Edwards. But congratulations, Thea Hale. And we go from the TNA Knockout CV champion to the reigning TNA World Champion, Nick Nemeth. He's going to come out next. And, of course, I'm sure he's going to probably address on what happened last week. But we shall see on that. Also, I think with the way the commercials have been, I think it's a good time to take a break, get a stretch in, go to the bathroom, get a beverage, get everything else, because with the way these commercials are doing, I think it's a good opportunity to take a little bit of a break. And we will be back here shortly because we can sit down and enjoy and hear from our reigning TNA World Champion. it's always nice to take a break and everything else. I just stumbled upon AEW socials and a little bit of breaking news from the Ring of Honor space because AR Fox got a victory. And it looks like Kevin Knight is going to have a busy, busy week because right before he faces off against Kenny Omega at Redemption and Darby Allin next week, he's going to be facing off against AR Fox this Saturday for the TNT Championship. It is on AEW socials right now. So after AR Fox picked up a victory, he's facing off against Kevin Knight on Saturday. So Kevin Knight's going to have a busy, 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 busy next couple days. And we have TNA World Heavyweight Champion in Nick Nemeth. And, well, yes, that was shades of Shawn Michaels. Yeah, and it's crazy. A little fact, too. So with AR Fox, and it's kind of interesting with the feud Kevin Knight has with Darby Allin because AR Fox is Darby's former training partner. Interesting. So a little bit of breaking news from the Ring of Honor TV space. So we're going to hear from the reigning TNA World Heavyweight Champion. That's what he has to say. Just leave little bro in the back. Actually, he does know who to face. It's just he's the wanted man. Shout out to Rebecca Chatlow's 4127. Shout out to you. And yes, Abyss did. Her name was Goldilocks because they were together way back in the TNA realm. And she dumped him for Alex Shelley, which was a very interesting and unusual storyline. He's so obnoxious. Well, that's who he is. That's who Nick Nemeth is. He has to be obnoxious. And with the fact, too, he's part of Busted Open. Well, here comes Casey Navarro, who's been trying to get a shot with Nick Nemeth. We're not done with this. Did he just call him kid? Grown up time? He's like, this is grown folks business. Kid, no kids allowed? My goodness. Who does he think he is? Jeez. You can tell. Well, why is he leaving? No, Casey, you get back in the ring. You get back in the ring. Don't let him intimidate you. You get back in the ring. No, you get Well, that's true. He came back from a torn ACL, which is very hard to do. That is true, Jeffrey. That is words of wisdom right there. I hope he does take Casey Navarro seriously. Casey Navarro's throwing out the challenge. Hey, you got advice from Mike Santana. He calls him kid. He's going to say no. Oh, Lordy, what is it? He said, delete my number. So pretty much if he loses, he can't bother Nick Nemeth anymore. He can't call him. He can't text him. Can't do anything. Well, if he calls him kid one more time, you know what Casey Navarro should have done? He should have just at least like crashed the party on Busted Open because Nick Nemeth is one of the hosts on there. That would have been hilarious. But it looks like, well, Casey Navarro has his eyes on the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. But now we go to the X Division Championship. We have Fabian Aichner taking on Cedric Alexander. You could tell so far the system is moving stocks because Bear Bronson got the victory over Ricky Sosa due to interference from Brian Myers. But here we are. Can the system keep it clean tonight? I know he sounds like an ex-girlfriend. I think that's where it's gonna go, Bosa. And it's crazy because when I was with Casey Navarro on Tuesday, and I was asking him this, I said it may be a possibility. We could see this at Lockdown, but he wants a title now, and he's hungry. He's ready for a challenge. He just came back from injury, and it's crazy because we were talking for a little bit, and I was mentioning this to him because we were mentioning another person from Jersey, Anthony Bowens. Fact, Anthony trained Casey Navarro. That was one of his trainers, which honestly, I've never heard a bad thing about Anthony because he is, and I met the guy 3 times, and I'm starting to learn more about him, but he's absolutely one of the sweetest human beings. Like, if you ever had the chance to meet him, please, 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 please do. But he did train Casey Navarro. He's high praised him so much on his socials, and I love that. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad. I know. It's a shame. I would have loved to see Santino. We haven't seen Santino all night either. I wouldn't mind seeing at least a little glimpse of Santino because we haven't but I'm pretty sure to post on social. But you're hanging out with me, your PR princess, your timeless elite, on Thursday edition of TNA, because we're continuing coverage of the Knockouts TV tournament. We're also going to have we're continuing coverage, but also we're just having a little bit of fun. Sorry, I'm looking at this because the Hardys are doing incredible work. I know we haven't seen Santino on TV. So just to let you know, a little bit of breaking AEW news. Geez, Jeff Mutterly, you don't like Santino? Come on now. Little breaking news on the TNA AEW side, because it's Ring of Honor too. AR Fox picked up a victory during Ring of Honor, and he challenged Kevin Knight for the TNT Championship at Collision this weekend, which, oh my God, we are finally having the TNT Championship happening on Collision on TNT, which that should have made more sense. And Hikaru Shida could have defended that on Dynamite, but that's a whole conversation I will have. But anyways, AR Fox and Kevin Knight are going to challenge for the TNT Championship this weekend. Fact, since Kevin Knight's in a feud with Darby Allin, AR Fox was Darby's former wrestling training partner. So it's going to be very interesting, and I'm pretty sure we'll see a glimpse of Darby Allin. Really. Of Darby Allin this Saturday. But AR Fox is going to be challenging Kevin Knight, and Kevin Knight's going to have a busy next couple days. He has to challenge for the title on Saturday. Then he has to put it on the line against Darby on Wednesday, and then he faces it off against... What's the breaking news? I actually paused a lot. So Jeffrey, just to let you know, because Ring of Honor is also happening tonight, AR Fox is challenging Kevin Knight for the TNT Championship this Saturday on Collision. And Kevin Knight's going to have a busy next couple days. But it'll be AR Fox taking on Kevin Knight. Obviously, of course, if you did not know, AR Fox is one of Darby's former training buddies when it comes to wrestling, like training partner. So I'm pretty sure we'll see Darby Allin. But we have the TNT Championship on the line on TNT. I wish they did the same for TBS. Oh, I hope. Of course you would say that. Well, he ain't going to lose it anytime soon. I don't think he's going to lose the TNT Championship. But we go from the TNT Championship to another championship in the X Division Championship. We have Fabian Aichner taking on Cedric Alexander for the X Division Championship. Very excited for this match. Of course, you got the system. All right. Here it comes. So as I mentioned, Bear Bronson got the victory. Can the system go on a clean sweep tonight? Because we saw Bear Bronson earlier due to shenanigans with Brian Myers. Can Cedric Alexander keep the X Division Championship in the system? Jeffrey, I'm laughing at your comment about Kevin Knight. I'm pretty sure you want him to lose, and I'm sure you're going to pull for Darby next Wednesday. Here comes Cedric Alexander, X Division Championship on the line. Feel free to put in the chat on who you guys got winning this. Do you have Cedric Alexander retaining, or do you have Fabian Aichner pulling off the victory? Either way. All right, so I love that they had the X Factor. So 6 years since the last one-on-one match, Cedric Alexander's first single title defense. So you see that's one of the reasons TNA started, and that's where it is. Next to the Knockouts division, they have the X division. Many stars helped elevate this division from AJ Styles, Frankie Kazarian, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, Elix Skipper, Jay Lethal, Alex Shelley, so many people who helped captivate the X Division as to what it was. And it does play a huge role in shaping TNA. And I will say this many times, the X Division and the Knockouts Division helped shape what TNA is. And I hope it still continues. It'll be hilarious if and Jeffrey, as I said, because Leon Slater still has beef with Cedric Alexander after what happened on Slammiversary. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't happy with the way his new buddy, Ricky Sosa, lost earlier tonight. So, I mean, it would be kind of fun. It would be fun. It would be kind of funny. But here we go. We have Fabian Aichner taking on Cedric Alexander, which is really fun. I love it when, like, any matches from the X Division be in the main event or the knockout. I hope Cedric is not taking a break, because I hope he's not taking Fabian lightly, because he did win a number one contender spot last week. And I think last week we were all in agreement that we didn't want Mr. Elegance to win. I hope Cedric Alexander does not underestimate Mr. Fabian. So apparently, Leah is not going to forget. Oh yeah, he's not going to forget. Also, a little bit of breaking news: Kevin Knight is not going to be the only person wrestling on TNA. We're going to get a visit from the CEO, Mercedes Moné, because she's going to talk about she returns to Boston, but we're also going to hear from her while on her road to Wembley Stadium. So, surprise, surprise, she will be, your CEO will be in Boston on Saturday on Collision. So, lots of interesting news happening. Been following this on social, and it looks like we're on commercial. I'm not gonna lie, Collision. I mean, it doesn't shock me that she's gonna be in Boston, which I guess it helps that she's from Boston. Okay, so I'm looking at this. So Mercedes Moné will be in Boston. Ooh, we're gonna have Will Ospreay take on Adam Brooks, and Will asks to wrestle his longtime friend and training partner. Now that should. We're gonna have that. We're also gonna have Tommaso Ciampa taking on Myron Reed. He said this on Collision Dynamite last night before he faced off against Jericho at Redemption. He said any person in the back to challenge him, and Myron Reed from the Rascals is stepping up to the plate. And after having a successful victory on Ring of Honor tonight, Adam Priest's search for singles gold has brought him back to challenging the reigning Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito in a match at AEW Collision. Like I said, it's been a little over a year since Bandito has been the Ring of Honor World Champion. He's been doing a good job, but apparently Bro Dino is back together again, but it looks like Kyle Fletcher wants the most wanted man. It looks like at Redemption, it'll be Kyle Fletcher taking on Bandito for the AEW International Championship. Pretty much almost everybody wants it, from Bandito to Takeshita, which I don't know why Okada needs it. He does not need the international belt. Do not give it to him. but I wouldn't mind seeing Bandino. I wouldn't mind seeing Takeshita. There's so many avenues. Because I'm not going to lie, when I saw Okada be the belt, I kept saying to myself, who could seriously take that from him outside of Takeshita? Because then it was like very hard. But I think with Kyle, it's a great opportunity to expand that. The same way my guy, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, did when he was international champion. It gives other people opportunity for the international championship. Because, like I said, when Okada was champion, outside of Takeshita, like, who did you really realistically think could beat Okada for that belt? So I think with Kyle, it does provide a little bit of segue. Even when Takeshita was champion, I think that would have helped out too. But nobody can top Orange Cassidy's reign as international champion. I'm not saying that because he's my boy and all, but if you watched Orange Cassidy's reign as international champion, you would know exactly why it was one of the best reigns. You'll see why. I know, Jeffrey. He's stuck in the mid card. He needs to go for the AEW World Title. Okada. That's what he needs. Have him face off against the World Title. So I don't know what's happening with that, but it's shaping up to be a good, solid AEW collision. Obviously, of course, Mercedes, because she's from Boston, so you gotta hear from the Madam CEO on what she says, especially leading up to her match at All in Wembley Stadium. So there's a lot happening. And I'm looking at all these commercials for AMC. Oh, they do need to cut down on the commercials. And we're back live with TNA Impact. We have the X Division Championship on the line. We have Cedric Alexander taking on Fabian Aichner one-on-one. Jeffrey, don't even get me started on that. I don't want to talk about that loss. I'm trying to think, which loss are you talking about? Are you talking about the one he lost to Mox or when he lost to Roderick Strong? Because I was a little bit upset when he lost to Roderick Strong because I was not too fond of it. Heck, even when he lost to Moxley, I'm like, ugh, okay. I don't want to talk about that loss because I remember that loss sitting there and I'm like, man, that really sucks. But look, checking the replay again. Ooh, Cedric Alexander gave that hit to Fabian Aichner. Oh yeah, Mox. Okay, so next week, Nick Nemeth is going to face off against Casey Navarro for the TNA World Championship. So he gets his match. As I mentioned, the Knockout TV tournament continues. We'll have Elena Black taking on Wendy Chu. And also, we're going to have Jada Stone taking on Alyssa Edwards next week. And we also, it's official, we have a tag team match. We have Moose and Elijah taking on AJ Francis and Ricky Kazarian. And the Hardy compound, the Righteous taking on the Broken Hardys for the TNA World Tag Team titles at the infamous Hardy compound. All of that happening next week. Nice DDT. Oh man, that was an impressive move. I'm not going to lie, that was an impressive move. Two, quick kick out by Cedric. Aichner. Okay. Aichner. Aichner. That's the name. I had to listen to the commentaries how they said Aichner. Yeah, next week looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, and after the next week we wrap up the first round of the Knockouts TV tournament and we just continue to see who's there. Oh yes, Giovanni Vinci in WWE. But now he is Fabian Aichner. Ooh, that was a nice move by Cedric. This is one of the reasons why I love TNA, because not just the knockouts, the X division. Like, if you look at the history of the X division, it's just incredible. Like, you have to go back. I think I remember TNA posted on their socials of Elix Skipper when he did that infamous move at Turning Point when it was like the 6-sided steel cage. That was insanity. But both of these guys are definitely delivering in it. And this is what makes me very happy. Breaking news by special request, Santino. He gave Jeffrey. Don't worry. And it's crazy too. Mara Charday is going to be competing in the second round, which is when they come to Philadelphia at the end of this month. I'm going to try to see if I can go to Philadelphia, because I ain't going to pass up an opportunity not to go to Philly. But look at Cedric Alexander. He's just taunting Fabian. Ooh, so also, this is interesting. Not only we're going to get the CEO, Mercedes Moné, we're going to have the forever Ring of Honor Women's Champion, Athena, be in the building. Oh my, she'll be in action. That's going to be very interesting. Well, they do have a hatred towards Willow, so that's number one. Yeah, he's underestimating Fabian. Quick kick out by Cedric Alexander for what? I have no idea. But Athena's going to be in action on Collision this Saturday, which is interesting because we also found out Mercedes is going to be at Collision this Saturday as well. Obviously, she's from Boston. Very curious on what's going to be said. It's going to be interesting. Ooh, look at the athleticism by both of these guys. That is true, Jeffrey. Maya World isn't far behind, and the way Athena called her out, they're going to meet at Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. Like, it has to happen. Fabian, 2. Cedric Alexander has his foot on the ropes. We got 3 minutes left. It's 10:57. It's going to be very interesting, these last 3 minutes. I don't know, Bosa. We shall see. I mean, I have to see how many matches they have for Redemption. Because if they can add a bonus match in the main card, that would be great. Because I don't think we have anything for the buy-in yet. But it's a possibility they could add a Ring of Honor match in there. They've done it before. Here comes Fabian. And oh, Lordy, here comes Eddie Edwards. Pretty much taking out anybody that's in the way of Cedric. 10:58. It's a good match though, but of course the system sticking their nose in where it doesn't belong. Obviously, we saw that with Bear Bronson earlier. Brian Myers interfering in his match against Ricky Sosa. And now this. 3, and your winner, and still X Division champion, sorry, so much happening. Your winner and still X Division champion, Cedric Alexander. Sorry, I just had a brain fart just now. Because I'm like, what was I saying? Well, yeah, Your winner and still X Division champion is Cedric Alexander. And yes, Boza, we have 6 matches so far. They should just at least stop at 7. I would be shocked if they added a Ring of Honor bonus match on the main card. But yes, Edge and Christian will defend against Claudio and Pac, because we did not see Pac last night. I know, all the members of the system, Eddie Edwards and Cedric taking out Fabian. Here comes Ricky Sosa, because Ricky Sosa got screwed in his match earlier tonight against Bear Bronson, so he still has some issues with the system. And there's Leon Slater. As I mentioned, Leon Slater still has a beef with Cedric Alexander after what happened at Slammiversary, so he is still upset. Ricky Sosa, Leon Slater, Fabian. It was a good match, by the way. Yep, Leon Slater. I'm not gonna lie, he looks pretty dope in his clothes. Leon Slater. I'm not gonna lie. We haven't seen him all night. And Leon Slater is doing what Leon Slater does best. Because I don't even know. Yeah, I think everybody in the X division ain't done. And I kind of like this in a way. Yeah, because I don't know what's going on with his Yeah, he does have a stick style. I'm not gonna lie. I like his clothes that he has right now. It's pretty dope. But I don't know what's going on with the contract situation with Leon Slater, but it would suck because I would love for him to stick around in TNA for a bit. I would love for him to stick around. But that wraps up TNA Impact. And if you're watching AMC, Die Hard is happening right now. So that wraps up TNA Impact. And I will say it was a solid show so far. Exactly. Right? You need that fit. He looks pretty clean in that outfit. I'm not gonna lie. He looks pretty clean. But that wraps up TNA. We're almost done the first round of the Knockouts TV tournament. Obviously, of course, Thea Hale picked up a victory over Harley Hudson. Congratulations to her. She'll be facing off against Indy Hartwell in the next round. We also had and by Elegance take on Rosemary, which obviously, of course, there was a lot of shenanigans. And we saw the concierge make an appearance, but of course, and by Elegance picked up the victory and advancing. So we did see that. So we're almost done the first round, and we have 2 more first round matches happening next week. We have Elena Black taking on Wendy Chu, and we have Jada Stone taking on Alyssa Edwards next week. So there's going to be a lot of fireworks happening. And we had a really good match between the big guys. Moose taking on AJ Francis. If you did not know, both of them do have played football in the past. So it was really nice to see a lot of athleticism between the big guys. Obviously, of course, AJ's manager Expressions had to get involved. And then Frankie Kazarian stuck his nose where it didn't belong, taking popcorn from fans. And Moose stealing Frankie's popcorn, which I don't think Frankie was too pleased with it after what happened last week. Moose definitely wants Frankie Kazarian because they never met one-on-one. But unfortunately, the match ended in no contest due to Frankie Kazarian interferes. So there's a lot of shift happening. But we now know next week, Elijah and Moose will be teaming up together to take on AJ Francis and Frankie Kazarian next week on TNA Impact. And now we know TNA Slash. Oh my God, Slick. That is too funny. That is too funny. That is too funny, Jeffrey. But after that, we also have the Hardys, or I should say the Broken Hardys. They will be defending their TNA World Tag Team Champions against the Righteous, where they're going to the infamous Hardy compound. What's going to happen there? I have no idea. If you know what the Hardy compound looks like, you know what it is. So we do have that. We also saw Jaya Brookside talk backstage with Elena Black. So, the reigning TNA Knockouts champion. She's a little fire. She's a little spitfire from the UK. Those Brits have a lot of spitfire. Have to say that. Also, we got to hear from Nick Nemeth, the reigning TNA World Champion, and Casey Navarro. He's not going to quit. He wants his shot. He wants his opportunity. He needs to. I need Casey Navarro to crash Busted Open. The next time Nick comes up Busted Open, Casey Navarro needs to crash it. And I should have said this to him when I met him on Tuesday, but I wasn't thinking. But fine. But next week, he's getting an opportunity for the TNA World title. Casey Navarro, Nick Nemeth, one-on-one next week. Super excited on that. And then we had our main event, Fabian Aichner taking on Cedric Alexander for the TNA X Division Championship. And it was a really good main event. Both of them came to play. And this is what makes the X Division so unique. And anytime you think of TNA, it's the Knockouts and the X Division. It was a really good match. Obviously, of course, Eddie Edwards interfered. Eddie Edwards interfered in the match, which is kind of crazy because there was another match I missed. Ricky Sosa took on Bear Bronson. Bear Bronson picked up the victory due to interference from Brian Myers. So Eddie Edwards stuck his nose where it didn't belong, and Cedric Alexander retained the X Division Championship. But it looks like the X Division are tired of the system. Ricky Sosa, Fabian, and Leon Slater, with the fact Leon Slater still has beef with Cedric Alexander over what happened at Slammiversary. There's a lot of things, but the X Division ain't taking no BS. And I love it. I love it, love it, love it. But that wraps up TNA. It was definitely a good solid episode. We're wrapping up the first round next week, and we have all the brackets set for the next round, which I'm very, very excited. It's just getting started. Who's going to be the who's going to be the inaugural Knockouts TV champion? Well, you're just going to have to find out here, because we are giving you exclusive play-by-play coverage of the Knockouts TV tournament. You'll be hanging with me every Thursday until we find out a winner. Obviously, you guys know where to find me. I'll be chirping periodically on WWT Live. I will be on tomorrow because not only will preview SmackDown, I'll give you a quick update of the Knockouts TV tournament, and we'll also be doing bold predictions of Saturday night's main event happening this Saturday. So you do not want to miss that. You can follow me on my socials at CourtneyNJ11 because I do have some content happening. We'll be posting a recap of Fight Factory Wrestling. So shout out to Dave and the rest of the crew for putting on an amazing show on Tuesday. We'll be getting the full recap that had the photos that I took and just having a little bit of fun. Also, please make sure to follow the rest of my panel for WWT because we are all doing amazing stuff. Super excited on that. Make sure to check us out because, like I said, we are juking, we're jiving. Even the East Coast, it's like a hot city summer of wrestling in the next month and a half. So get ready. We're having a little bit of fun. Also, if you're at Fanatics Fest this weekend, make sure to have some fun. Drink some water, stay hydrated, keep cool, especially because there is a heat wave happening in the East Coast. It will also be raining this weekend, so please make sure, stay inside, stay cool, drink your water, just stay in any shade. And also with the fact, too, we're dealing with an air quality alert because we're getting a lot of smoke from Canada because Canada recently had a fire. So please make sure to stay cool, and you don't need to go out if you don't need to. But that wraps up my time in TNA. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Boza, Jeffrey, Jeff Merling, Eddie Foster. We do have some new people joining in from on the TNA realm, which I'm very excited. Shout out to Lynette, Aaron Teagle, Jill PG9. I'm just making sure I don't miss anybody. Gas Mask for hopping in. Chauncey Billings 5381 and Black Lives Matter. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Black Lives Matter 3151. So thank you all of you for joining for tonight's edition of TNA. And always make sure to follow Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. You better have a great evening, friends. And I will see you here tomorrow on Friday.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.